Welcome, Earthlings! This is Mind of a Musician, episode 21. And on this podcast, we just review some local bands, regional bands. Today, we're looking at two Wichita artists. One of them is Twin Cities, and one of them is me. My project's called Vandarth. So I'm going to play two songs for you. They're both on the Mind of a Musician Local Music Wichita playlist, Volume 1. You can get this on Spotify and from the website mindofamusician.com. And if you go there, you can actually download the compilation album in MP3 format for free. So I hope you'll check that out and listen to what other awesome Wichita bands are around in the city that I live in right now. So let's dive in. This first song is called Day After Day by Twin Cities. And the recording process behind this song is super interesting. First of all, the song itself is about trying to balance relationships and life and creative processes and stuff like that. Now, Ryan, the writer, told me that he's always been bad at that stuff. He always feels like he's spread too thin. And when he's trying to do all this stuff at once, like career stuff, relationships, music projects, he always feels like he doesn't give enough focus to each individual area, and so he wins at nothing. It's like a multitasker's nightmare. He says when you're experiencing feelings of failure and you're going through a routine like that, whether or not you're actually successful or not, everything feels like failure and monotony. So that's what this song is about, and it's actually an old song that they wrote, and Ryan originally wrote it as an acoustic waltz. So when they were getting ready to find new songs for their latest album, the band went through a bunch of their old demos, and the drummer picked this song out. But the original song, they said, was terrible. Like the waltz feel was just not what they wanted now. But the lyrics were good, and so was the melody. So what they did was they reworked it to match what the band was doing on the rest of their album. So after the band reworked this song, they made it louder and aggressive, and it ended up on their album, Missing Out on Nothing, which you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. And the recording process for this album was crazy. They recorded this in like the upstairs of a linoleum factory. The band had an audio engineer picked out, but then as soon as they started trying to record, all these problems arose. So originally, they were supposed to record this album over 10 days. Plenty of time, right? But then some personal issues came up with the audio engineer, and he had to bail. So then they got another friend to come in and be the producer, but they only had like 32 hours to record the entire album. So I don't know if you know this, but like most of the time stuff is recorded individually, and they had to rush through this album. And he said he wished that they had more time to get better vocal takes. Like personally, I can't even imagine having to sing a whole album in like a day. Like, I don't even think my voice could handle that. But they had to rush that out, and they wish they had more time to work on the guitar tones and stuff. But they didn't. And in the end, this album is what they got. And I can't imagine putting all this work into writing something and making it amazing, and then you got to go record it, and you've got one day to record all these songs. Oh, that sounds like a complete nightmare. So, interestingly, Ryan kind of liked the way it turned out because he said there's a little bit of charm to the panic in which it was recorded. So maybe you can kind of think of this as like a live album or something. It's not polished because of the story behind it and all the factors going into it. It's fairly raw, which can be kind of cool. So let's listen to Day After Day by Twin Cities.
Driving home.
All right, I hope you enjoyed Day After Day by Twin Cities. So part of the reason I picked this song was because I liked the intro, just the chord progression and the rhythm. It sounded unique. You don't hear a whole lot of rock bands using clean tones and syncopating like this. And I thought this was something different and interesting that they brought to the table. Knowing what the band went through while they were recording this, it just unlocks like a deeper meaning when I listen to the album now. So if you like this, check out the whole album on Bandcamp. And remember, you can download the song for free on the Mind of a Musician playlist on mindofamusician.com. All right, so let's take a listen to our next song. This is The Truth Is Out There by Vandarth. And I am actually Vandarth. That's my solo artist name. So I record songs, and I'm kind of like Dave Grohl on the first Foo Fighters record, where I don't have a band right now, so I just play all the instruments and record it, put it together. So that's kind of what it sounds like. Sounds like a band, but it's really just me in a room in my house. This song is also on the Mind of a Musician Wichita Bands compilation album. It's on Spotify, so if you like it, check it out. I've also got a website called vandarth.com. So let me tell you what this song is about. So I was homesick from work one day and I was bored, so I turned on Netflix and I started watching X-Files Season 1, which I'd never seen before. But I'm really into detective stuff, and Season 1 was all about UFOs and trying to prove the existence of aliens and that the government knew about it and all this stuff. And what I thought was most interesting about the show was that Mulder and Scully, they were investigating aliens and supernatural stuff and miracles and all this stuff, but they were trying to put together like hard facts and evidence to prove like the extraordinary. They were trying to look for evidence of spiritual things and aliens and supernatural stuff. And that whole thing really intrigued me, especially because at this time I was just coming out of having finished kind of a spiritual search myself, where I was looking for hard evidence. And during that process, see, I used to have this theory that like we're not going to know any of this stuff till we die. And then I got more curious and I started looking into it, and I found like some paths had more evidence than others. I didn't want to tell anybody what to believe or not to believe. All I wanted to do was encourage people to search, like look into stuff like that, because one, not only is it fascinating to me, but there were more answers out there than I imagined. And while we may not know everything, but we might know some. And I just wanted to encourage people to search, to look into it, to explore. I also got really into UFOs and stuff after I watched that show. Like, I had just gotten done with my spiritual search, so I started looking into like UFOs, like the Roswell crash in the 40s. And I tried to put together like a hard factual case for that, which it came out, the evidence is like really conflicting. So that was fascinating and told me like, I don't know, I wanted it to be a UFO really bad, but I'm not sure if that crash really was a UFO. It seems more like it was something else. But that's just my opinion. I love that subject, so I would love to talk about it. But anyways, let's listen to The Truth Is Out There.
This world should have come with some kind of manual. Maybe it did. Maybe I just misplaced it. Do you really want to know the why? Are you gonna go without a fight? Who told you that you never know, never know, never know? If you never look, what do you expect to find? You know the truth is out there. Someone said to me, everything is as it seems. But you know the truth is out there. What if I hide in my own reality? How long do I have until it fails me? Is there anyone I can trust? Can I count sincerity?
All right, so that was my song, The Truth Is Out There. My artist name is Vandarth. You can get this on the Wichita Local Bands playlist, or you can get it at vandarth.com. So you get the playlist at mindofamusician.com. So, hope you liked it. I'll tell you a little bit of background about this song. First of all, it's part of an album I'm working on. I think I'm going to call it Metanoia, which is like a journey or a heart change. And I recorded this song with a 70s Telecaster that I borrowed from one of my friends, which normally I play Gibsons, but I wanted like a gnarly, like different kind of sound. And like, who uses a Telecaster for hard rock like this? I can think of one band, Rage Against the Machine, and I loved their tone growing up. So I thought it would be intriguing to make a heavier song with a Telecaster. I really don't know how to describe the sound of this song. I'd say maybe like Foo Fighters combined with Chili Peppers. In fact, like, I don't even know if I like this song or if it's good. Like, I kind of like the music, but to me, for some reason, this song is so like weird and different than my other stuff that I'm not even sure how to judge it. So I don't know. Tell me if you like it. When I mixed this song, I was actually trying to learn how to master recordings correctly. Like, after you mix it, you got to go to the mastering phase where you EQ the whole mix and you add compression and limiting and all this stuff. Well, I hadn't really ever like done that correctly, so I made like, I don't know, 20 or 30 mixes of this song. And like, maybe that's why I'm not sure about it, because I just exhausted listening to it to death. It drove me crazy. And the one thing I couldn't fix is like, I could not get the cymbals to sound quite like I wanted, because I didn't place the mics quite in the right spot. So that was a little bit frustrating and probably fuels kind of my mixed feelings about it. But I did want to do something like unique with the drums. So one day I came up with the intro of the song, and then I designed that drum part around that. And then I came up with the chorus and the verses later on acoustic. And when I wrote it, like, that verse riff is like kind of like a punk, like driving riff. I wrote that on acoustic, and that to me just had this like percussive feel that fueled the song. I was kind of afraid that this would sound like too 1990 or something, but I just recorded it anyways, whatever. So if you like this song, I've got like a greatest hits that no one's ever heard album on Spotify. Look up Vandarth. It's like Darth Vader and a van combined. So I hope you enjoyed these songs. Let me know what you think on the Mind of a Musician Facebook page. I hope you'll go visit mindofamusician.com and get the playlist and share that page and that link in the playlist with people, because what we're trying to do is we're just trying to expose the bands on the playlist to more people in Wichita, because the talent here is incredible, and we just want to share it with other people and get these bands heard. Also, check out ict-radio.com. We are now one of their featured podcasts, so we're trying to partner together to grow the local music community. And if you go to their website, you can listen to like 24/7 local music on their radio station, which is super awesome. So check that out. And in a couple weeks, we'll be back with a couple more bands, and we'll be telling the story behind those songs. So I hope you'll tune in next time. We'll see ya.